implement these standards in ways that are appropriate to the special conditions in their markets. And that kind of flexibility, I think, could not only give you the end result that you want, that is fair and clean markets, but also allow for small exchanges with differing kinds of problems and issues to not only exist but also to be able to compete. And the Commission has been sensitive to that, and in that regard has always tried to establish performance type standards and allow some diversity in how those standards would be actually implemented among the different exchanges.
I am told that in order to raise $5 million in fees, that on an annual basis that amounts to about a fee of 2 cents per transaction. Is that about, that means that there must be 25 million 250 million transactions. Is that, that means a million transactions on every working day? Is
Let me turn to my, would that be about right? Is that? That's about, yes.
About a million transactions on each working day. Is 2 cents very much? What's the? I will ask that question of the panel this afternoon too. What percentage of the gross profit is 2 cents, and whether or not that's a fee that would make it create an uncompetitive situation. Well, I thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your patience, and I think I have no other questions at this time, though. Again, I would like the Commission to prepare for me so that I be very specific about what I request. Whether or not we are going to make our own exchanges non-competitive, number one. And secondly, I would like to have a review of the regulations that are imposed upon the competition. The regulations that are imposed by the Japanese or the London, I don't think I need to know about every exchange, but the major exchanges that might be seen as competitors to our exchanges. In my business days, I used to have a little war room, so to speak, where I kept very close track of what my competitors were doing. So I would like to know in this instance.
Yes. Senator Boschwitz, may I ask for a clarification on that? Is it true that you'd like this, but a very, you might say, quick and dirty overview, because you would like to have it quickly?
When
Is
I have
that right?
it quickly,
I mean,
I'm not
because there
sure
are, there's a long study and there's a short study.
I presume that your staff has someone who can do that quick but not too dirty.
Absolutely. We will do so. We'll do the best we can.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Boschwitz. Thank the panel for being here. You're excused.
Thank you.
I have an opening statement, which I wasn't here to give earlier. I'll just submit it for the record. Unanimous consent. And what I'll do now is we'll call the next panel up for opening statements, and then we will recess until 2:30. Karsten Malman, Chairman of the Board, Chicago Board of Trade. Leo Melamed, Special Counsel and Chairman of the Executive Committee of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Z. Lou Gutman, Chairman of the New York Mercantile Exchange. Robert E. Fink, Chairman of the Board of Governors of the Commodity Exchange Incorporated. If those four could please come up and take the witness table. And again, what I'd like to, in consultation with Senator Lugar, we ask that you, if you could, just each give your opening statement of around 5 minutes, then we'll all break for lunch and come back at 2:30, and we'll pick up the questioning at 2:30. That would be all right. And we'll start in order which I read the names. The first would be Karsten Malman, Chairman of the Board, Chicago Board of Trade. And again, I want to welcome all of you here today and thank you for your patience. As you can tell, this has got a lot of interest, obviously. And I have a feeling it's going to be a long day today for for all of us. So, Mr. Mallman, welcome, and please proceed if you can for 5 minutes. If you feel that you want to add some things, perhaps you could come back. When we come back at 2:30, we could do it at that time.
Senator, I'll be within a minute of the 5-minute.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Karsten Mallman. I'm chairman of the Chicago Board of Trade. The Board of Trade has over 3,600 members who've been rocked this year by widely publicized allegations against 22 individuals. In all the attention paid to these 22 individuals, little or no attention has been given to the vast balance of our membership, which has continued to carry out the vital business which is done each day and night on our exchange. A prime example of our members' continued performance occurred Sunday evening. The Board of Trade's evening hours market, inaugurated 2 years ago to cover early morning trading hours in Japan, was the first worldwide market to open following last Friday's 190-point stock market drop. In an atmosphere of great international uncertainty, the 700 to 800 members standing in our trading pit Sunday evening handled a record volume of over 285,000 contracts, representing an underlying value of $28 billion in U.S. Treasury debt in a one-tick market. Worldwide investors were able to seek the security of the U.S. Treasury market Sunday night, quickly and efficiently, providing reassurance to investors all over the world and setting a tone of calm and orderliness, which I believe influenced the operation of markets throughout the world yesterday. Our markets are a national asset. Any primary dealer participating in U.S. Treasury auctions before 1977 will state that the bid-ask spread for cash Treasury bonds before our Treasury bond futures market started was $300. In 1989, when our bond volume soared to nearly 300,000 contracts per day, that spread is $30. Our markets allow the U.S. government to market its debt more efficiently to primary dealers and more economically than ever. This service provides a major savings to U.S. taxpayers. Worldwide demand for our services has also given rise to unprecedented and determined competition from foreign sources. On December 1st of this year, the Tokyo Stock Exchange will start trading a carbon copy of our U.S. Treasury bond futures contract. Japanese investors already own 30% of the U.S. debt, and now Japanese institutions will have their own U.S. Treasury bond contract, which they can trade by their own rules to accompany this huge ownership in America. In effect, the Japanese will not only own our debt, but U.S. bond prices and the interest rate that we pay may be determined in Tokyo. Please understand me, I do not mention foreign competition to suggest that we sacrifice U.S. market integrity in the interest of increased volume or lower cost. I mention it because, one, we deceive ourselves if we think we cannot lose this industry overnight to an aggressive foreign competition. And number two, the irony would be that we would lose ground to markets that provide substantially less in the way of customer protection and market integrity than we provide in the U.S. Like Senator Leahy said, and we corroborate, we want a workable system that is honest, efficient, effective, and fair. We rely on the committee's skill and moderation to draft legislation that preserves our markets' efficiency while reinforcing their integrity. No one takes the charges that have been leveled in the recent grand jury indictments as seriously as we do, the leadership and the members of the Chicago Board of Trade. But the worst outcome of this reauthorization process would be to use the indictments as a foundation for imposing audit trail standards utterly incompatible with a liquid market, or raising costs of access to our customers by imposing new and unwarranted taxes on our markets. I fear the bill, as introduced, does both these things, and I will flatly state that our markets could not have performed as they did Sunday night if such a standard had been in place. Second, the service fee provision also is problematic. At a time when the futures industry is shouldering the substantial cost of market reforms, a new CFTC fee that could be used to fund the agency's entire budget could constitute a crushing burden and a competitive handicap. In the past years, we have devoted a substantial percentage of Board of Trade staff and resources to improve our market surveillance program. Since January '89, our surveillance budget has been increased by $1.1 million to fund a major expansion of computerized audit programs to 100%, as opposed to 10% previously, of all trades. We have increased our surveillance staff by 30%. We have adjusted and submitted for CFTC rule approval measures that would tighten trading card submission schedules and eliminate practices or procedures that lead to even the suggestion of abuse. We are now testing a computerized order entry system that times the entry of every customer order to the nearest second. And we are also making steady progress on a broker workstation that will further pinpoint the time of all order executions. Work on both projects is now at advanced stages.